Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 8 of Hell's Paradise. Yeah, this series has been fantastic so far, and we have gotten a lot of new information. We have learned about the Tensen, apparently the most important people on this island. Um, and they kind of protect Shinsenkyo, it seems like. They control the lesser demons, I'm going to call them, because I can't remember what they were actually called at the moment. I remember the Tensen, but I don't remember the other one. But they control the lesser demons to basically protect and defend the land, to take out all of the intruders. And any bodies and whatnot basically are just added to the pile, you could say. They're added to the island and end up creating the elixir of life. We also met May, this young, presumably immortal girl who has powers, who is under the care of this group-like tree golem creature. And they are the golem, who told us all this information, who also told us that the island is separated into kind of 3 sections, 3 rings, and that the innermost ring in the center of the island is where the elixir of life is. Currently, they're in the second ring, the middle ring, and that's like the villages and whatnot, right past the forests and everything. So that's where they're at now. But we know the Tensen have begun to make their move, because we see 2 of them kind of deal with the brothers. Now, we don't know if the brothers are completely dead yet, because, let's be honest, they were thrown down into the hole, and we saw that they were still alive at that point. So, it's possible for them to survive, even if unlikely. And now we just have to continue to see where this goes. There's still like a character or 2 from the opening we haven't seen. So there's definitely more to be revealed and more to be introduced. Excuse me. And I, for one, am excited for that prospect. Just the fact that we still haven't learned everything, the fact that we still have more to go, is exciting. And raises the stakes even. We also have gotten hints at Yuzuriha's abilities. She drank something, and was seeming to like almost sweat this weird substance. So her abilities have something to do with that. I don't know when we're actually going to get to see that in full force, but we got a hint at that. And in the meantime, our group is just kind of relaxing, resting, building up their strength for what's to come. So, yeah. Gonna be interesting to see where this goes, because there's only, 13 episodes in this season? Now, there is a second season confirmed, but where is this gonna go? Like, how are we gonna end the season? Because I kind of have to assume there's more to this series than this arc, than this journey to the island to get the elixir of life. There's got to be more to this, unless this is just a shorter series. But if they're doing an entire second season, I just feel like I'm not sure how they could extend that into 12 or 13 more episodes at this point. Like, it feels like we're getting close to closing things out as it is. You know what I mean? It feels like the stuff on the island isn't going to last much longer and shouldn't last much longer. There's only so much you can do with this kind of concept. Even with the Tensen being introduced, that's more like a late stage thing as it is. I don't see how this could how they could make this last a lot longer at this point. And if there is something more, then that means that either this arc is going to be finished by this season or sometime early next season, maybe. But it means that either we're going to fail and not be able to get the elixir of life, in which case I don't know what's going to happen next, or if they succeed, how is Gabimaru going to get involved in something else? Because his entire goal is to survive, get the pardon, and go back home to be with his wife and live a normal life with her. He basically plans to retire, so if they succeed and he does get to go back home to his wife, what would be able to bring him back in? The only thing I could think of would be his chief coming after him. Something in kind of that vein. But I don't know. Now there is one wild card as well being thrown into the mix. Apparently the clan is going to be coming to the island. At least some of them. So whenever that happens, that could also throw a wrench into things and maybe extend things a little bit. I don't know. I don't know at this point where this is headed. But I am very excited to find out, so we are going to get into this. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. You know, I kind of just noticed something, which maybe because of all the camera issues and everything, and just what was going on, I didn't really put together. We didn't see our main characters this episode. Right? We didn't see them at all. Gabimaru, Saguri, all of them. We didn't focus on their side of things at all. This was pretty much entirely focused on Tensa, Nurugai, and Master Shion. Them coming together and then eventually, within that, taking on the Tensen. And I like that, because I think in the last episode we got with Tensa and Nurugai, we also had split focus. We had focus on our main crew as well. So this allowed these characters to breathe a lot more and allow us to learn to care about them and understand them a lot more. Not to mention the flashbacks that gave us more depth to Tensa, that allowed us to understand his character and everything. I was almost tearing up at the end there. It's like I'm kind of on that wavelength where I don't know who's going to survive outside of Gabimaru and Saguri. They're the only two I'm 100% confident on. All of the others could easily die. And that includes newer guy and Shion now. But at the same time, it's like I really, really don't want them to. Like, I didn't want Tensa to die. And that was just based off of, again, the bits we got in the other episode with him. Like, I didn't want him to die. And now he's dead. But like I was saying in the reaction, he went out extremely well. Like, he knew he was going to die, and so he chose to die not just as a samurai, but as an honorable one who died protecting those he cared for. He was protecting his master, who saved him from a life of potential crime and homelessness and danger. And he was saving newer guy, who he saw the potential to live in and wanted to protect and save in the same way that he was protected and saved. So he died very, very honorably. And you have to give him massive respect for that. And newer guy's response and everything was, let's be honest, a little bit stereotypical. Like, in any kind of like series like this where one or two parties has to run while the other sacrifices themselves and everything, there's always the one who's like upset that they ran and was kind of forced to run and everything, and they're like, why did you run? We have to go back and save him. And it's like that entire scene was, let's be honest, pretty stereotypical, something we've seen before. But at the same time, it was also perfectly believable for the characters. Because it built up their depth, it built up their emotional connection to each other in a way that made that scene work. And that's why I always kind of say, like, tropes are not necessarily a bad thing. Seeing a trope in an anime doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It's all dependent on how it's handled. And I think it was handled extremely well here. Because again, this was set up to make it believable and understandable that they would react that way. It didn't come across as just a trope for the sake of putting it in there. No, it felt, like I said, natural. Newer guy's insistence initially that they go back, Shion telling her, we can't, we have to honor his sacrifice, like, we'll just die if we go back and everything. But also his insistence on eventually getting revenge and all. It's like, yeah, he is 100% going to care for her in honor of his student now. So she will continue to be protected. He is going to take that on for sure. This episode continued to show the frightening aspects of the Tensen, to show their immortality and everything, while also displaying the courage and valor and strength of our human characters. This Tensen seems to specifically be upset that things are not how they were. It's like, oh, things have been changing here. I don't like that. This forest isn't as peaceful as it's supposed to be. We got to take care of that. Outside of the depth and character given to our characters, as well as truly introducing Shion, this episode, the only really like notable thing it did for the overarching story is to give the information that people cannot become part of the elixir of life if they are dead. Dead bodies will not be taken in for that. The person has to be alive when they're um, eaten, let's just say, by the plants. Which is notable info. Which is notable info. Which means all of the characters we've seen be killed before won't be turned into elixir of life. And it means that the Tensen who threw the brothers into the hole kept them alive on purpose. They were alive on purpose. It wasn't like, oh, they just didn't kill them after all. No, that was intentional. They were meant to be turned into elixir of life. So, yeah, that's fun. That's some big information there. Now, the brothers might still be out of the picture. They might still be effectively dead. Um, they might have already been taken by the flowers, you could say. But I don't know. We would have to see. Um, so there's got to be some way to take out the Tensen. There has to be, because otherwise, there's no way any of our heroes, any of our characters can survive this. Eventually, they'll all be found and caught and stopped by the Tensen. The only other way is if they somehow got to the elixir of life and escaped the island while avoiding them, because they can't outrun them. The Tensen are excessively fast. They're not going to be able to outrun them. They're not going to be able to outfight them. So unless they find a way to kill them, some kind of trick or method, then the only thing they can hope to do is to sneak to the elixir life, grab it, and then sneak away and get off the island. Which would preferably mean they would have to also get in contact with Shion, because he's the only one at this moment who knows the current that leads out. So, yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen. Honestly, they don't seem like the sneakiest bunch to me. Like, maybe Gabimaru and Yuzuriha, maybe even Shion could be sneaky. But a lot of the others, Sagari maybe, but I could also see Sagari, like, messing up or making a mistake somewhere and, like, accidentally getting them caught. Just because she's overthinking it, as always. And honestly, Yuzuriha, I'm only, like, kind of guessing that because of the ninja stuff, but honestly, with her personality, who knows with her? The problem is, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So there's got to be a way to kill the Tensen. There's got to be something. The thing is, what? If you destroy their brain, would that work? But it almost looked like when Tenzo was punching him, was punching the Tensen here, he got through to their brain. He, like, punched off the entire top of their head, it looked like Jesus. Like, how hard do you have to be punching to do shit like that? But the brain was showing and everything, and it was, like, presumably some of it was destroyed. But that didn't seem to stop it. Do they have, like, some kind of core within them? Like a homunculus from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood? I don't know. Maybe there's a certain thing that can kill them? Like, I don't know, maybe fire? I'm just thinking fire because of Gabimaru's ascetic blaze. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know how they're going to do this. The Tensen are just so powerful and so immortal that it's like, how do you do this? There's gotta be something. There's gotta be, like, something. I just have no fucking clue what it is at this point. Um, but I can definitely say I'm very interested. I can definitely say that with absolute certainty. Though I've been very interested. I've been, like, invested as hell in this show. So, not really anything new there, but uh, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. And I was talking before, real quick before we end this, I was talking before in, like, the previous episode with Tensen Nurugai, that if we got more with Nurugai, she could possibly become my favorite character. Um, this episode focused a lot more on Tenza and Master Shion. Nurugai was just kind of there. Like, she got a little more to her, but was more or less the same as where we left off with her. Like, there's not enough of any building on her that happened yet that really made her different enough to really make me like her more than I do. And I do like her. Like, she's still one of my favorites. And Shion definitely rose in the ranks here. But honestly, it's like she didn't really get any higher than she was before. Gabimaru is still my favorite right now. Um, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah. Very interested to see what happens next. How many episodes do we got left? There's 13, so this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 5 episodes left. I have no idea where this is going to go. I assume that Shion and Nurugai are going to meet up with the rest of our group. But after that, I don't know. I guess we'll see. So, in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Hell's Paradise? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.